Is it normal for a news station to blur images that they find offensive? I mean, they do, right? But do you guys find phone numbers offensive? Because that's exactly what ABC News blurred out when it came to former President Donald Trump's speech after his arraignment. Now, related to that, Trump may be jailed for more than a century if charges against him are successful. And just imagine getting 100 years in jail for a misdemeanor. That's just crazy to think about, right? With the war in the Ukraine far from over, a top Ukrainian official is now saying that the collapse of Russia will be nothing less than spectacular, and it could happen within a few years. Do you guys agree that Russia is at the losing end of this war? Even with the fact that the Ukraine continues to ask for more money and weapons? The United States is causing more tension between North and South Korea as we have one of the biggest joint military drills in the South. So much tension that the North is saying that this could very well bring us into nuclear war. What? Now, I hope they're not serious about this one. A giant retailer is trying to keep up with the times as they're expected to adapt to the new age of renewable energy. How about you guys? Are you completely invested in green energy now? Or do you still have your doubts about its advantages? Now, before I continue, guys, please take a second, drop a like for the video. Really appreciate that. And if you guys are new here in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the economy, the stock market, social security, housing market, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And for the best way to invest in gold or silver, hit the link in the description down below, guys. So we live in such a fragile world at the moment, and it's not uncommon to hear the term nuclear war during this time. Isn't it just crazy that we're hearing it that frequently? Now, at the same time, it's also really awful, which is again is the case where the United States is concerned, and this time around, it's North Korea that's warning us since we're holding joint military drills with their neighbor and enemy, South Korea. Now, according to their state news agency, KCNA, quote, the reckless military confrontational hysteria of the United States and its followers against the DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, is driving the situation on the Korean peninsula to an irreversible catastrophe, to the brink of a nuclear war, end quote. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but that does not make me feel very comfortable. I mean, just thinking of a possible nuclear war or nuclear fallout, it's pretty scary. Do you guys think that this is going to happen in our lifetimes? Now, speaking of war, Ukraine's Security and Defense Council chief has said that Russia is at a weakened state and it's only a matter of time until the collapse of the Russian Federation. How long until that happens though, right? Within the next 3, 5, 7 years? He also added, quote, this is a historical process and cannot be stopped, end quote. Now, you also have to consider that if Putin is backed up against the wall, just how much risk would he and his allies be willing to go through to maintain their sovereignty? I'm sure he's willing to pull the nukes out before that happens. You know who's going through it right now? Former President Donald Trump, as he continues to face charges that could end up with him in jail for a maximum sentence of 136 years. Now, he also fired back at some of the people who are most delighted about his legal situation.
We are a nation in decline, and now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. We can't let that happen. With all of this being said, and with a very dark cloud over our beloved country, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again.
The indictment has the House Judiciary Committee talking about issuing subpoenas for Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg and 2 other prosecutors who resigned last year from his team to testify before Congress. I also want to point something out with the footage that I just showed. How is this different from this video?
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen.
Did you guys spot the difference? It's a very subtle difference, but it could make a huge factor down the line as ABC News blurred out the portion of Trump's Mar-a-Lago podium that showed a number through which people can donate to. The number was not blurred in any other network as far as I know, and ABC has said that this was all just a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding or not, Trump's popularity and donations continue to grow as he just raised over $10 million since he was indicted. Doesn't it feel like Trump is getting more support and even more money from donors, even with all of this legal noise? It's kind of like it's helping him. And while critics of the former president are excited at the possibility of seeing Trump wear orange for the next century and more, legal experts are saying that the case is weak. George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley said that Bragg is trying to connect a federal crime into a state case, calling it legally pathetic. He also said, quote, "There's a good reason why the Department of Justice did not prosecute this case, because it's been down this road before. I tried a case against former Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards, arguing that hush money paid to another woman who bore a child out of that relationship was in fact a campaign violation. That was a much stronger case, but they lost," end quote. Now, if the same thing happens here, then this may very well turn into a very successful donation campaign for the former president. But what do you guys think about this? Is it proof of our justice system being one-sided, or did Trump really have it coming? Now, on that note, do you guys believe that EVs will be much more successful within the year 2030? It seems that the retail giant Walmart thinks so, and that they're planning to have their own network of EV charging stations by that year. These fast charging stations will be placed at thousands of Walmarts and Sam's Club stores.
With Walmart, now the retailer adding thousands of EV charging stations to its stores, expanding its current footprint of 1,300 EV stations at 280 stores. Now, Walmart didn't give many details about the suppliers, who they are going to work with when installing these EV charging stations, but right now they have currently worked with EVgo and also Electrify America in the past. Big picture, though, this could maybe help EV adoption. We know there certainly is some range anxiety, and there's a Walmart store or Sam's Club within 10 miles of about 90% of Americans. So more access there potentially to some of these charging stations.
To date, Walmart already has around 1,300 of these stations due to a deal with Volkswagen. Their newly appointed senior vice president of energy transformation said this about their plans, quote, "We have the ability to address range and charging anxiety in a way that no one else in this country can," end quote. Would this convince you to buy an electric vehicle soon? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I guess it's easier to talk about big purchases like this if we all had a huge chunk of cash just laying around, right? With credit card bills, mortgages, rent, food costs now disrupting our day-to-day lives, it's easy to see that households across the country are struggling to make ends meet. To be honest with you though, we live in the US of A. We shouldn't be in this situation. We should be flourishing, right? This is a first world country filled with opportunities. If cash flow is a problem, you should look into developing side hustles or small businesses. Grow your income into multiple streams. Now, there's also investments that you can study, be it gold, silver, the stock market, even in real estate. But I don't want you guys going into this with no prior knowledge or experience. So if you want to learn more about these methods or are interested in learning how to develop multiple streams of income, feel free to drop a comment down below. Now, before I go, guys, don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video and subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.